What is up, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to Chalk Talk, presented to you by Deal With It Productions. I'm Preston Deal, and yes, you heard that right. I control everything in that statement because we all know that betting on yourself is the surefire way to make sure you give maximum effort and take no days off. Except for yesterday, because the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine kicked off day one yesterday. D-line, linebackers. We're also moving the camera back a little bit, giving us even more space to move with the hands, talk, and also put in a bunch of stats and notes that you're going to need to know from the D-line and the linebacker group that kicked us off yesterday. Super exciting day. The deepest class, the best class, I would say, of defensive linemen that we've seen in a very long time. They're definitely the focal point and the strongest position grouping, I would say, in this year's draft as of now to date. We're going to find out the rest of everything that's going on this weekend. We'll categorize what positions are the best, which positions I think are the weakest after the combine. Like I said, every single day from today moving forward, we will have a video recapping what happened the day before. I know a lot of these people get on here and they start jumping to conclusions right after the combine. They stay up all night, they get their videos out. I'm up at 5 a.m. This video is being recorded at 5 a.m. It's going to be posted later in the day because I don't think anybody's getting up at 5 a.m., at least not to watch my videos. So I'm just going to recap the days before. I'm not going to be one of these people that stays up all night, does all this stuff. Back when I was doing, some agency stuff, back when I was doing consulting, blast to the past, I would stay up all night. I would record the combine so that I could watch it after, the week is over, after the weekend of festivities is done. You can go back and watch. You can watch all the players. You can watch your clients. You can break everything down. Did the same thing with the draft. But this time I'm scouting. I'm taking my knowledge and I'm bringing it to a camera, which means this information that I put out there will be around forever. So if I'm a couple hours late to the party, so be it. Information that we need to know. Interior defensive linemen, the edge players, and the linebackers all went yesterday. All extremely good groups. The linebackers, I think, stole the show. Not from an overall wow perspective, but they are a lot better group than I would have given them credit for. Pre-combine, I would have had the linebackers somewhere ranked in the middle, maybe on the lower end of the class grouping. But they're up there, and there's some ballers. I think every linebacker that worked out yesterday and participated in the 40 and or did the field drills has a real opportunity to be drafted this year somewhere in the 7 rounds. And if they don't get drafted, they're making an NFL team, which is a huge statement from years past where the linebacker groups have kind of come and gone. Linebackers have kind of shifted down to play edge. Also, round of applause for the NFL for finally separating the defensive line category. Defensive tackles go with defensive tackles. Defensive ends go with defensive ends. You don't want to see a guy that's 245 pounds running a 40 following a guy that's 335 pounds. So keeping the classes organized, these distinctions of positions was huge for the process of scouting and for the scouting combine. I think it made it more efficient. They're getting rid of drills that have no bearing on how these players are going to be evaluated. They are adding certain twists to these drills that I really like. But overall, I would say A+ for yesterday's combine performance for interior D linemen, edge players, and linebackers. Now, I do want to show you guys before we get rolling. Now that we have some space, I'm trying not to hit the microphone or the camera, but this binder right here, those are all notes, this year's notes. We have to be very careful how we maneuver. But those are all the notes. Those are all the notes from the season, from all the players, the lists of everything that I kind of noticed throughout the year with the players, the scouting, the rankings, the notes now from the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, all the bowl games that, all-star games, now combine. We'll add the pro day to that. We'll have ranking systems. And then that is what we use to formulate drafts, mock drafts, analytics. Yes, I know that a computer can do this. Yes, I understand that there are programs for this. But sometimes what you see with your own two eyes tells you everything you need to know about players and where they're going to go, where they're going to be drafted, and how they're going to be successful in the NFL. I stumbled that all around. Like I said, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's brutally early to be having brain firing, but thank goodness we got Better Buzz coffee roasters, Better Buzz, Life's Better Buzz, obviously, in the house. Shout out to my wife. She's over there. She's general manager. She's helping grow, launch new stores. They are taking off as a company. They are a tremendous company. They are going from company to corporation status while keeping that mom and pop mentality. They've been around for 20 plus years. They make exceptional coffee. If you've never been to a Better Buzz, check it out. If you're passing one and you've always wondered what it was, you've always been curious, stop in, get a cup of coffee. Snickerdoodle latte, definitely my favorite. Huge fan of anything cinnamon based. I get it iced. The best drink ever is exactly how it sounds. It's literally one of the best drinks that you can order if you're a coffee fan. If you're not a coffee fan and you like the new energy drink styles, they also have those. They have sweet stickers. If you collect stickers, merchandise is super cool. They have a hat that says, "I like you better when I'm buzzed." The creativity is off the charts there, and it shows through their drinks. Their food is top quality. It's a real cafe. They are throughout Southern California. I believe throughout California as a whole. They're opening. They are in Vegas and Nevada, opening more, expanding throughout Arizona. Again, shout out to my wife. Congratulations for taking this company to new heights and doing everything that you're doing over there. If you happen to see this video and you're a fan of coffee, please go check it out. If you've never been there, you won't regret it. If you've been there and you had a great experience and you know exactly what I'm talking about, if you've been there and had a bad experience, give it one more shot. Everybody, every company, every person, everything in this world deserves another shot. So give them that shot. Thought I'd shout them out. Only makes sense that at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're doing a video and you're sitting in a studio freezing that you would have the coffee insignias going on. But enough of my promo stuff and enough of stuff that people don't come to this channel to see. Let's get into the NFL Combine, day one. Let's talk interior defensive line. Also, after the Combine, I'm going to post my criteria and what I look for each position and the most critical factors for each of those position groups, what I consider them to be hits or misses, stocks up, stocks down kind of deal. I'll give you guys all that after the Combine. You're more than welcome to use my charts, my analytics, compare them to your notes, compare them to what you're seeing. But with that being said, I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I don't think we have enough time to dig into my brain or my analytics. All you need to know is there are significant stock risers in this Combine day one, and we're going to continue to see it moving forward. If I miss anybody, or if you guys saw something in the day before that you really want to hit home on, or you want me to touch on, or a player that you're curious about, please let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do the whole song and dance. Get in contact with me any way you know how. Ask me those questions. I'd be more than happy to provide answers to all that. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and talk about injuries or the medical reports that come out. I'm not a doctor. I don't understand a lot of the injuries or the type of things that come up. I remember from my experience as a player, my experience being around players, my experience representing players, the medical thing is very touchy. It's very hit or miss. Guys do get hurt warming up for the Combine. Guys get hurt the day before. Guys get hurt during the Combine. Guys have been hurt for years and years and years. It's going to happen. Unless something dramatic comes out. We've seen guys tear their ACLs at the Combine. I can talk about that. I can hit on that. But minor things, especially the Abdul Carter situation, time will tell with stuff like that. Preston is not going to sit here and tell you what's happening. So little third party reference portion, POV, whatever you want to call it. But the most important thing is we're talking athletes, and we're talking big men, big athletes. During this, when I give you these, risers and these guys that performed really well, I'm going to put their stats. I'll put pictures. You know how I do it. I'll put everything up here. I'll put their combine information. I'm also going to put an Excel chart up there with the notes that I took of these players while they were participating at the combine on the field drill. So you'll be able to see exactly what I write. I will transpose it onto a document and post it on this video, so you're not looking at some scribbled signature looking handwriting. But without further ado, we're going to start with the interior defensive linemen, who have been the talk of the year, talk of the offseason. Now they're the talk of the combine again, for great reason. Number one interior defensive lineman that really popped off and showed really what he was capable of. I'm also going to tell you guys where I have these guys ranked pre-combine in my mock draft, what round I had them getting drafted in. If you watch the show, then you would know the 1 through 64 picks. And I'll tell you if I think there's going to be a dramatic change to that position where they get drafted. But first guy, Darius Alexander, Toledo. This guy is 285 pounds. Carries his weight like he's an edge player, but he's a defensive tackle. This guy's disruptive. He's powerful. He's quick. He's fast. He's athletic. He has everything you want to see in a first-round interior defensive lineman. I had him in the second round pre-combine, pick 58, which would send him to the Houston Texans. I think this guy's going to creep into that first round. I would not be surprised if he's drafted above pick 32. Overall, great combine. This is a guy that's a smaller school that didn't sell out by leaving the NIL era and going somewhere else and making a bunch of money to put a sticker on his helmet that is of greater value of what everybody thinks. We're going to see another Toledo guy go in the first round. I'm convinced that he probably won't make it out of the first round. And by way of miracle, if he does, there's going to be a team at the top of the second round it's going to be really hard to pass on this guy, because you can shave a little bit of weight off of him, put him on the edge, you can play him on the inside, you can even have him dropping into coverage, which is so valuable to have a guy that can do everything, who's versatile. It's very impressive. His combine performance yesterday was off the charts. I definitely think he's a stock riser, probably most likely worked his way into the first round. So shout out to him. He did fantastic. Really excited to see his career and where he goes. And these are in no particular order. I didn't rank them in this whole, best player from the combine, worst player from the combine. I'm just giving you guys an ordered idea of names I wrote down that I think really improved their draft stock. I've also talked about many times over the years and many times on this show, I do not do a top 100, a top 150, a top 200. I just don't do it. I don't believe in it. I probably will never do it. If I do one day, you guys are more than welcome to tag, comment, throw this part of these videos to me. If I jump ship and start doing what every other mock draft analysis guy does, they all have these rankings and systems. And I do want to talk about something. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's just put it this way. If you are an announcer or you are commenting on the NFL Combine and you put your foot in your mouth or stumble over your words or say something that you shouldn't, I think there should be an accountability check and balance to that. But regardless, I'm not going to get into it. Like I said, I think it's hilarious. If you guys watched yesterday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next, interior defensive lineman. Let's not get off track today. We got to make these videos quick. Warren Brinson, Georgia defensive tackle. The guy is a supreme athlete. I watched a little bit of his tape. I've watched other Georgia players. He flashes. He has the ability. He's quick. He's athletic. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. He's running around like he's 250 pounds. This guy has the components to be the next guy out of Georgia, the next laboratory freak that they're building down there in Georgia. These guys all look, run, act, perform the exact same. He is going to be a steal in the mid-round. I have him right now in the 6th round. I think he makes his way into the 4th, 5th round, somewhere in there. He might even slide into the 3rd with how dominant of an athletic performance he had. He's going to need work to get his production up, to get his overall ability to play through the level of competition that you're going to see. But man, he is athletic, and he is a specimen to watch on that field, and I'm excited to see where he is. He's the perfect combination of size, speed, and athleticism mixed with that nasty personality that you want at a 6'5", 300-plus pound interior defensive lineman. In today's day and age, a guy that can run from that interior spot creates a world of trouble for quarterbacks, and it's not a guy that you want to go against. So Warren Brinson had a great day. Go back, check him out. I got to watch some more film. I'm excited to see his overall production. I think he shoots through this draft. Next guy, Jared Harrison Hunte, the SMU boy. Oh my goodness, 4'8'7". He weighed in at 290 pounds. I believe he probably plays at 300, 305, 310, somewhere in there. The guy, again, like Brinson that we just talked about, is an athlete. If you're running a 4'8'7" as an interior defensive lineman at 300 pounds, you are going to wreak havoc in the NFL for quarterbacks. If you beat that guard, there is no way a quarterback with interior pass rush like that is going to be able to stand in the pocket, 1, or evade you, 2, because he's not going to run away from you. So this is a guy that I had in the 6th round as well, like Brinson, who I think is going to shoot up draft boards. He has untapped potential. SMU had a fantastic run this year in the college football grand scheme of things. Yes, they got bullied in that 1st round, but it's no product that, or I'd say it's no fault of his own. The product that he put on tape is unbelievable, and he is just pure athleticism and pure speed. Now, when we're looking at big men, defensive line, linebackers fit into this a little bit, especially offensive linemen. The 10-yard split is what's most important. Unless you run a 4'8'7" at 300 pounds, nobody cares what else you do. That is something that a coach can mold, work with. It is purely, absolutely incredible. I'm excited to watch a little bit more film on him. He is somebody that definitely caught my attention, caught my eye. I kept having to look down like, oh yeah, okay. It's Harrison Hunte. Every single time I was watching, it's like, yeah, that's a guy. Same with Brinson. That's a guy. You see these guys, you watch them, they're in shape, they're carrying their weight well. They're not sitting here messing around. They're going through the drill. They're precise, and they're executing what they need to do perfectly. And if you're not one of those top guys, you have to execute everything you do in this training process perfectly. These guys did that. So Jared Harrison Hunte, awesome day. 4'8'7" is just absolutely incredible. He will not make it to the 6th round. I wouldn't be surprised if he barely makes it to the 4th. That's how good of a day he had. And this is the way that the combine works. We can have these ideas of these players, or not ideas of these players, similar to what I have of Brinson and Harrison Hunte. You have to go back, watch the tape. You have to go back and now reevaluate, or if you haven't evaluated these guys, these are the guys that pop up on the radar where it's like, yes, we need to watch that. So watch out for that guy, that name. The last interior defensive lineman that stood out to me, who I've watched quite a bit of tape on, and I didn't really see this type of speed or explosion or even athleticism. Maybe it was just the style of defense, but this guy Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Whoa. 6'5", 290 pounds, probably plays at over 300. He's going to fit a 3-4 scheme incredibly. He can play inside, he can play outside. 171 10-yard split. In 10 yards, 1.71. That was his 10-yard split. 4.83 40-yard dash, the fastest of the interior defensive linemen. I had him in the 7th round after watching a little bit of tape, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch all of it. He's a guy that I kind of turned on sporadically, a couple big games here and there, saw some good things that could be molded and worked with, but just didn't flash the explosiveness. I need to go back and watch intensely, because not only is he a mountain of a human, when you look at him on the field, he looks the part. He's running, he's fluid, he's smooth. Yeah, he's a little herky-jerky, but most guys that are 6'5", 300 pounds are going to be that. But his straight line speed is incredible. I'm not going to go and say that he's making that 2nd, 3rd round mark yet, but I will get back to you guys. I will watch his tape, and somebody's going to fall in love with this guy. I know how the NFL works. I know how scouting departments work. Somebody's going to see this guy, and if he's available between picks 100 and 140, there is going to be a hard conversation, a hard sell in these war rooms about, we need that guy. We need to develop that guy. Maybe as a defensive tackle, maybe as a nose guard because of his athletic ability. That would be very scary and dangerous. Maybe as an end. There's going to be a lot of conversations. Ty Robinson at Nebraska, what a day. He started off fast in the 40, finished the drills fast, gave 110% effort. He was locked in, and he, like the other 3 that we've mentioned already, significantly improved. Stock up to the right, check mark, checked it all off. For a guy like Ty Robinson to run a 4.83 with a 10-yard split of 171, and then to go out there and compete as hard as he can in those drills, just reinforces the kind of football player he is. Disappointed to not be able to see the 2 Michigan kids, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. I was really excited to see their production and how they kind of competed and matched up. We'll have to wait till the pro days. Injuries again came up. That happens. But I was a little bummed to not watch them. I was really excited about those 2 guys. I still think they're going to be 1st round draft picks. I think they're going to have amazing NFL careers. Now let's move to the moneymakers. The moneymakers of the defense, I guess you can say. The edge players. I wrote down 3 names that just stood out to me. There was a lot of good edge players that a lot of guys I saw on the field that didn't run the 40 who looked fantastic. A lot of guys running the 40 put up great numbers. The 3 that stood out to me are pretty well-known names, I would say. They're all names that people are going to be familiar with. That kind of happens in this process. But the first guy is Nick Scourton out of Texas A&M. A lot of up and down ideas and reviews of this guy. A lot of people have him, in that 20s range in the 1st round. A lot of people have him late 2nd round, give or take. Right now, I have him 40th overall to the Saints in that 2nd round. I've been one of those who've had him in the 1st, have had him lower in the 2nd, had him higher in the 2nd, kind of all over. I was really excited to see him compete. I'm very happy that he did the whole process of going through everything, because I think he made himself a lot of money doing that, and I could definitely see a lot of the comparison type of things that they were putting up to why he could potentially be a 1st round pick. I still think that there's some work for him to do. I think his interviews are going to be key into figuring out if he's going to be that 1st round guy or if he's going to be that upper echelon of that 2nd round. He does not make it. I don't think he makes it past 40. I don't think he makes it past 35, to be honest with you. There's a lot of talent on this defensive line, so it's going to be hard for these NFL teams to rank these guys on these positions of value of who they see ahead of who. But Nick Scourton out of Texas A&M incredible, incredible day. I wrote down he just looks the part and he can compete. Sometimes that's all it comes down to. He's smooth when he runs. He's good on the pass rushes. He looks the part. I have the notes of what he weighed in at. I'll put it here, his height and his weight. This guy's an NFL guy. I think this guy's a day one starter. There are components to his game when he's in pads and has a helmet on that have to translate more to the NFL. But he's a prospect that if I'm a defense coordinator or a defensive line coach, or I'm coaching edge rushers, I want to get my hands on this guy. I want to fold, mold, do all these things where you create him to be that perfect replica of what you need. And I have him going to the Saints in order to replace a Cam Jordan. His game kind of reminds me of a Cam Jordan. Obviously, different players, but I definitely think that his ability is at the top of the charts. He's working his way towards that first round, and yesterday was a big day for him, and I'm very happy that he competed because he's somebody who has had these rankings where he hasn't been rated outside the top 64 picks. He could easily collect his check, say I'll work out at my pro day, and let my performance there speak for itself. He showed up, he competed. That's a guy I want on my team. Next guy is my guy. They called him, the mayor or the president or something at his training facility. He's barking out orders at the combine. He has a group of men following him. He's in the face of the Ravens D-line coach, beating his chest, saying he's ready, let's go. Olawafemi Oladejo. And I've talked about this guy as a Senior Bowl winner. I have talked circles around this guy and how he can play linebacker. He's built like an edge player. As of right now, I have him in the 4th round. Probably where he will stay. But man, does this guy bring the juice? Does he bring the fire? There is some passion that burns in this guy's chest and his mind and his eyes about football. He is one of those guys that wakes up first, arrives at the building first because he's so excited to be playing football, and he doesn't leave. And I don't have to be in a meeting room to be able to see that. I don't have to be in a meeting room to understand that he is going to be a leader on teams. Probably 20, 25 teams could use a guy like this right now in the NFL. I wrote down he's got a fire personality. He's fun. He loves football, and he's just excited to be out there. The guy's got a motor, and not to mention he's athletic. He's built kind of like a bulldog pit bull mix with the same type of personality. He sees red when it comes time to do the drill, and he's oddly fluid for how stocky and strong and built he really is. I've watched all his tape. I've watched his entire Senior Bowl. There's an easy conversation that you can have to put him in the 3rd round just based off of his personality and his fire. He has some things to work on, but this guy's an absolute dog, and he is going to be that same type of energy, same type of player in the NFL, and they're going to develop him into the body and the personality that they want. He's moldable. He's coachable. He's a guy that you want in your locker room. I will take that in the 4th round all day long. I've been on this guy's team, supporting him from day one after watching his games this season. Fantastic combine. Again, guy shows up, does all the things that you want to see, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic thing to see guys compete. Next edge player, the last on my list, the guy that won the whole day. This guy won the whole day of the combine. He might have won the whole combine, but he won day one for sure. He's going to be talked about moving forward for a very long time. I think he secured a top 20 pick in himself. He might be the 2nd pass rusher off the board. And look, James Pearce out of Tennessee, okay, that's who we're talking about. There's a lot of conversations about his, teams are worried about his attitude, his personality. You hear guys talk about he left his workout shirt at the hotel. That speaks to character issues, this, that. Forget that. Forget everything you know about whatever it is that you're hearing from these reporters and media outlets. This guy's unbelievable. Ran a 4.440. He's 245 pounds. He is a lean, mean, wrecking machine. Now, there is production things that I want to see him do that are better, but if you're running like that, and you can just be a pass rush specialist, and you can rack up between 12 and 15 sacks a year, you will go down in history in the NFL for whatever team you play for. If you can do that for 10 to 12 years, for that foreseeable future that we always talk about. That guy is special. I saw somebody, scrolling through the X account, somebody said this guy runs and moves like a receiver, but plays defensive end. I couldn't agree more. I wouldn't even be opposed to having him cover a tight end if push came to shove. I wouldn't even be opposed to moving him to linebacker if injuries happened. I would move him to tight end if we needed a tight end. I mean, this guy is that incredible of an athlete. He is going to pack on a little bit of weight. He'll hold his speed. He will be coached. I don't know the guy personally, so I'm not going to speak to personality things. Reports that come out, I don't believe that unless we're seeing personality issues. This guy's special. He's locking in a top 20 pick, might even be the second pass rusher off the board, just based off of freaky natural ability. I have him going 28th right now to the Detroit Lions. I think if he's there and hasn't been picked at 28, I think Dan Campbell might literally scream that his head will explode with how excited he'll be. I would draft this guy somewhere in that second to third edge player off the board. There's just way too much upside. I understand the downside, but I'm betting on James Pearce from Tennessee to be probably the winner of the combine, definitely the winner of day one. So those are my D-line notes, prospects, takes, whatever you want to call it. Let's move into the linebackers who, like I said, I wasn't very high on the linebacker group as a whole. Watched some film here and there, but was waiting more for yesterday to conclude before I go back and kind of study this linebacker group. And there are a lot of good players, a lot of good numbers to review. The first guy I want to talk about was linebacker number 1, Eugene Asante out of Auburn. He's 6 foot, in that 220-pound range. He's kind of like a specialist hybrid. I think you could probably, maybe he could drop to safety. He has great linebacker ability. He play that outside linebacker. He can cover, but he ran a 4.48 40. So having a linebacker that can cover space in a culture of the NFL now that's kind of spreading everything out, that has these quick screens, that has wide receivers like Xavier Worthy running 4.21s, you need these linebackers that can close the space. He ran, his 10-yard split was 1.52, which, people, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the fastest of the linebackers that we saw run yesterday. His closing speed is incredible. So having him, run from the inside track of a linebacker position out to these screens or these receivers, or covering running backs on wheel routes, or changing direction with running backs on these, Texas routes or these Hank routes, this guy can do it. And he's built kind of more compact, more centered. He does get eaten up by blocks on tape. I did see that a little bit. He needs to learn to use his speed to avoid incoming blocks and incoming traffic. But this guy's special. He has the ability to be special. I think his trajectory is only going up. There's some more tape I want to watch. I want to watch a lot more of his pass coverage type of things, in his hustle, his pursuit. But as of right now, Eugene Asante out of Auburn. I have him in the 7th round. Um, I don't think that's going to be accurate. I think that's actually off. I think he's probably that 5th round range, potentially 6th if certain things fall differently as far as position groups. But he'll be a special teamer. He's going to contribute in every way you ask him to contribute on your team. He's a football player. That's what you want. In those later rounds to build your roster, to build your team, you want football players. That guy is going to give you the heart and the energy. He had a great combine. He kind of kicked off that linebacker group with that first 40. I was like, whoa, this is about to be a group. And they didn't fail to surprise. Next guy, Demetrius Knight Jr. from South Carolina. First of all, incredible story. This guy's he's a father of 2. He's out of control mature. He's a leader. He loves ball. His stats will be up here somewhere. When you see the amount of tackles and the production that this guy has had, it is no secret why he is just absolutely trending in the right direction. During the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl kind of mix-up matchup, when I was kind of watching in and out, he really flashed onto my radar. I heard a lot of people talking about him, a lot of buzz about Demetrius Knight, a lot just about his upstanding personality, his character, and the way that he approaches the game. If you watched the combine yesterday, you heard he's an absolute gym rat. You have to pry him away from the field. You have to literally force him out of the gym. He is what we would all think of as a professional football player. I wrote down all great. Every drill he did was great. He's fluid. He's an incredible athlete. He's got good hands. Watch him catch the ball really nicely. The thing about Demetrius Knight that I like the most is he doesn't think about his movements, doesn't think about his breaks or his chopping his steps or his directions. He's focused on the coach. He allows his athletic, God-given ability to take over. He can catch. He actually went to college to play quarterback, made the transition to linebacker. Now, I'm somebody that out of high school played quarterback, made the transition to safety, and then inevitably was on my way to play receiver. That whole thing was just a big circle of, rotation. But making the transition from quarterback to linebacker without anything in the middle, very impressive. Right now, I have Demetrius Knight in the 2nd round, 60th overall to the Lions. Look, if the Lions get James Pearce in the 1st round and Demetrius Knight in the 2nd round, I think that they would be stoked, and they are probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl. That's just where I stand. I don't think Demetrius Knight makes it to pick 60 by any means. I think he's probably a top 40 pick at this point, which means that he's going to be potentially slides his way into the 1st round, or he's at the top of that 2nd round. He had a great day, and that's a name to remember. He's going to be a star in the NFL. Jahad Campbell is my next guy. And look, everybody's talking about Jahad Campbell, first round. Jahad Campbell. Look, I've watched him on tape. I've watched him a lot. And one thing that stands out to me is he's 235 pounds, which he doesn't look like he's 235 pounds. Certainly doesn't run like he's 235 pounds. 4.25, just so fluid. He moves so well. It's one of those mind-boggling situations where everything analytically shows you that he should be something, and then you look at him on the field and he's not. He's like this long, lean guy that can run, that can cover, that can tackle. I've been a little up and down on the first bridge of the 1st round, 2nd round for him. I had Jahad Campbell in the 2nd round. In my mind, he's a lock for the 1st round. Absolute lock for the 1st round. The guy is incredible on tape. I was a little curious to see how he performed at the combine before I gave him that 1st round grade. He's a 1st round guy. And his pass rush moves and skill just on the bags makes you believe that he can play anywhere on that front 7. 235 pounds. I mean, it just, it doesn't look like 235 pounds, and that's what you want. You want one of those sneaky, athletic, fast, good linebackers at the core of your defense. This guy's a day one starter. He's going to be a first round draft pick. My mind is made up, and I think he has just executed his stock to a new level, made himself a lot of money, and he should be very, very happy about the trajectory that he is on. So Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, what a day, what a day. Next guy I have to give a shout out to. I have him in the 7th round right now. He had a good day. I have to watch a little more tape on him. When I show you the stats, you're going to be shocked at the production that he was able to generate. Teddy Buchanan went from UC Davis, transferred to Cal Berkeley. So kind of an interesting connection there. The guy was super productive this past season at Cal. He had a great year, and he's a UC Davis guy. He's a Berkeley guy. Gotta shout that guy out. Sweet hair. Had the blonde dyed hair. Used to have the long, really long hair. It looked really cool, but changing it up a little bit. He had an overall good day. He's a good linebacker. He's going to contribute on special teams. I think some team is going to find some value with him in that 6th or 7th round, and I'm excited for him. Naturally, I have to be excited for him. Represent UC Davis, my guy, and hopefully everything turns out to be the way that you envision it for your life. If not, give me a call. Maybe we can have you on the show. Last but not least, a guy that really blew the top off the whole speed conversation. Kane Medrano from UCLA. I think that he's probably going to find himself into that hybrid linebacker safety role, kind of like a Kyle Hamilton in a way. This guy ran a 4.46 40. At 220 plus pounds. He's 6'3". That is a scary safety. This guy's got ball skills out of control. If you watch him on tape, you see the range that he plays with. This UCLA defense, Carson Schlesinger didn't do anything. Yesterday you have Oladejo, who I've mentioned. You got Medrano. I mean, you have another defensive tackle, Toei. I think that's how you say it. Who also didn't do any of the drills. Their defense was good. And I think they have just the guys I named right there are NFL guys. They probably have more guys that I'm not thinking of at the top of my head. But this guy Medrano, to run that fast, to be that smooth, that fluid, to have that ability, and he's kind of built like one of those tweeners, those hybrid linebackers. And instead of having him, play in the box and get eaten up by offensive linemen, I would throw him back at safety, let him use his range, his ability, his God-given ball skills, and let him come flying downhill and hit people. He's going to be exciting to watch at the next level. I have him evaluated in the 7th round, which is oddly huge mistake. That guy is going to be drafted like 4th round probably. I don't see him making him out. I don't see him making it outside the 4th round. I watched more tape on him last night. Didn't watch a whole lot of tape on him before the combine, which probably makes sense why he was in that 7th round range. Watched a little bit. Obviously, he flashes when you watch Schlesinger or Oladejo's tape, but I have to go back and watch his physical tape, watch what he can do, because, man, is he a blazer. He's going to contribute on special teams. He would be fun. He would be my vote to play safety. I mean, that size, that speed, that athleticism. And if you watched the combine yesterday, everything he did was so fluid. It was so nonchalant. I kept writing down, I want to see him run through the drills. And then you start to watch, you compare his movement to everybody else. It's like, oh, yeah, it's because nobody's next to him. But he's running, and it just looks that easy, that effortless ability, that athletic God-given skill that he has. Super excited for him. He does not make it to the 7th round. I think his stock is incredibly increasing and can only go up probably from here. My projection maybe somewhere in the 4th right now. I'm excited to see what he can do. Couple impactful notes that I wrote down. The interior defensive line, defensive tackles, better than advertised. They have great depth. They stole the show. See, I can't even read my handwriting. That's just incredible. And their skill is top notch. You're going to find quality in all 7 rounds at that interior defensive line. If you need a defensive tackle, there's defensive tackles that are going to be available 5th, 6th, 7th round. You're going to find quality in those guys at all those rounds. I think every defensive tackle and edge player that's drafted will probably make their teams respectfully, barring anything crazy happening. For the edge players, impactful notes. It's what we expected. They're fluid, fast athletes that have absolute explosive ability. Linebackers, better than I gave them credit for. Simple. I think every single linebacker, like I mentioned, who worked out at the combine yesterday has and probably will be drafted. And there's linebackers that didn't even get invited that we've talked about. Chandler Martin from Memphis will be drafted. So we're going to see a lot of players. Obviously, there's only 257 picks this year in the NFL draft, which is brutal given that there's probably 300 plus guys that deserve to be drafted. Everybody deserves to be drafted. Let's put it that way. But when we're talking about play and playability, statistics, overall just quality of play, there's probably going to be a lot of undrafted free agents that we're all shocked by. One more guy I do want to call out. I want to give a special shout out to J.J. Peagues out of Ole Miss. I think he's the first ever defensive tackle that I've seen at a combine work out as a fullback, running back, defensive tackle, defensive end, quarterback, tight end, fullback again. I mean, I'm watching this guy run routes. It's like, wait, are we sure that he plays defensive tackle? Are we sure? I mean, what the Chargers and Ravens have done with this idea of these mix and mash defensive tackles at fullback and fullbacks becoming offensive linemen becoming fullbacks, all this crazy stuff. J.J. Peagues just screams the next guy. I mean, right now I have J.J. Peagues in the 4th round. I think that's probably a good landing spot. Maybe 3rd round if somebody gets really curious and antsy and wants to add this guy to the fun components of what they do. I mean, if you're a team that needs a defensive tackle and wants to start integrating a fullback, and need some help and depth at the tight end position, this is your guy. It's just very unique. And I have to give a special shout out to him because I watched him all year. I was super pumped up to watch him play at Ole Miss. You knew watching Ole Miss games that you were going to get some kind of J.J. Peagues, quarterback, wildcat, running back, tight end. And then he was going to go back and play on defense and plug up run holes and get after the quarterback. So, very, very good day for him. I was very happy to see him go through those other drills. I think he earned himself a lot of money, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody reaches up, snags him in the 3rd round. Most likely will probably stay in that 4th round range. I would be super happy if J.J. Peagues was drafted onto my favorite team. Keep an eye out for him. Keep an eye out for all these guys, every guy that went to the combine. It's super fun to track their stories and the evolutionary process of where they started and where they're going. So with that, day 2 of the NFL Combine today. Defensive backs, you're going to get some blazing speed, some blazing times, and then tight ends. I almost forgot who was going, but defensive backs, which is your corners and your safeties, then you're going to get your tight ends. I'm excited to see the tight ends. The tight ends for me are a deep class, but I want to see how athletic this class can test. Testing's a big deal for tight ends, especially for me because I don't really grade or study the tight ends until after the combine, kind of see what I'm working with. So I'm excited for today. Kicks off 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. today. Eastern, noon Pacific. I'm going to go and get myself organized. I'm going to go get some coffee from the Better Buzz. You guys should do the same. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Do the whole 9 yards. Let me know what you think about the different camera arrangements that we've been going through. Keep an eye out for the video tomorrow. I will be posting shorts throughout the day as well. Today into tomorrow, then tomorrow, so on and so forth. We're going to go through the whole thing. Shout out to the defensive line and linebackers for lighting it up, kicking us off with an explosive start to this combine. Cannot wait for today and for the rest of the weekend. You guys have an absolute amazing day. Thank you for watching. Again, this is where you can find us. For everybody here, the Deal With It Productions, for the family, cast, crew, everybody involved, I'm Preston Deal. Thank you for listening to Chalk Talk. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.